Hello. I'm actually really excited right now because this is the first time I get to say this phrase in a video. And congratulations to Hiyazi because this is the first time I'm saying it in one of his videos, and that this is the first time. So, hello everybody. This is your DBI admin, Magic Paper, and welcome to a video review. There's no camera because I don't have one, but I have a nice crisp microphone. And today we're reviewing 3 logs back to back. However, the way I'm doing this is that I'm reading a log, pausing the recording, and then reading another log and continuing. Just to make that very clear, I have not read any of these except A Surprising Discovery because I read that right before I turned on the recording. And I do this because instead of leaving notes for myself, I have it fresh in my mind to know what happened. And this log is fairly short, so keep that in mind. What I'm going to go over is going to be pretty quickly, at least for the first log, and then we can move on to the other ones. It's probably not going to be a super long video, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 20-minute video for like a single page, and that's fine. I think it's even less than a single page, which is, again, okay, but it means for a very quick review, at least on my end. In this review, I gotta scroll up. In this review, Jean's really not part of this. She's just unconscious after the first judgment, which, by the way, you should go read. It's really good. It's also a prequel or predecessor to this one. So basically what happens is that the Imperials are trying to they're trying to investigate what happened to the refinery. So they send a squad over. Main command receiving, speak your piece, Steel Dome 1, and then it says they're reporting on events of what happened to the refinery, like I just said, and they're going to send someone over. And then they because of what happened to First Judgment, it blew up because of Jean. They go over there. They take their time. They don't take their time. It takes about an hour. But they do get over there, and then another 30 minutes, I guess. They get over there. They're looking for people who's alive. They find someone unconscious who they assume is alive and awake, but apparently not. Obviously, Jean is unconscious after what happens in the First Judgment, and so they go over to her. They look at her. They find out that she's a rebel. They don't quite know who she is, but she seems familiar. And then the commanding officer comes over. He knows who Jean is. He's like, well, it's the broadcast hijacker, as it says right here. And rebel against fate, you say. Well, fate has led you to a strange and uncomfortable place, Jean, of the Canvas Rebellion. I think it would have been kind of fun if you put Jean the survivor. Obviously, they wouldn't know that, but it would have been funny if you did that over the rebellion stuff. I'm not saying you should have. I just think it would have been funny if that was just there. It would have been out of place, to be honest, but it would have been funny. So they take her to the truck, and then they heal some of her wounds, just enough so she doesn't die, and then they take her off to the prison, which is the title of the next log, the Silver Whale, and that is perfectly fine. Now, there's no arc name for this. I think I will put this on the master arc page as the Silver Whale, only because it just seems like that would fit for the arc name. And I don't know how long this arc is going to be. It might be a mini arc. It might be almost over. I have no clue. But that's just what I'm going to put it under, unless you Hiyazi, have a problem with that. Now, I want to talk about the writing and stuff of this log before I move on. I'm going to do this for every single log I go through. It's really good. I like how you handle the NPCs, the Imperials. It's very short, and the log's also very short and sweet and to the point. It's just a good log. I don't really have any complaints about it either. I think you did fantastic. I guess it could have served to be a little bit longer, but it doesn't really need to be for it to work, especially since you have 2 more logs out that I'm going to go through that already cover more content that is going to happen. So all around good marks. I'm excited to see what the other 2 are about. I didn't read them, but I did skim over the log to see how long they were, and they're all about the same size. I think the Silver Whale is a little bit longer, but I haven't officially checked that out, but that's okay. Now I'm going to pause this recording, and I'm going to go read the next one, and then I will pick up later after I have finished that one. And I know this quick bit is only 5 minutes, but it's okay. It's 5 minutes, 30 seconds in my recording time, but it's probably going to be shorter once I cut some stuff out. Color me surprised when I say that because I didn't read the Silver Whale immediately, that I did not know Jean wasn't taken directly to the Silver Whale, which I thought she was based on the log title. However, it is very minor, so it's not a big deal, but she is taken to a prisoner processing place nearby, but not in the Silver Whale. It's just so they can transfer her over, find a cell block for her, and then get her situated. But Jean is asleep, sort of, like a nightmarish kind of place, or nightmarish in her head kind of place. She says, "Help me," but then she wakes up, finds out she's in a cell, all freezing and cold, and then she thinks of her friends and Hypo, and she smiles, and the guard asks why, smiling after screaming, and Jean's like, forget the scream, and then she's like, I was just thinking of friends, and then she asks where she is, and then the guard just tells her where she is. She's in Steel Dome. She's in the highest part, the military capital of the Empire's forces. That's what it is. Thank you, Jean, for writing that down so I could read that. Anyways, she kind of jokes. She's like, I stole candy from an Imperial baby. And then the guy's like, right, well, wait. And then you'll be transferred. And so it takes about 2 weeks, roughly 2 weeks, estimated to be 2 weeks, to leave and go to the Silver Whale. And in that time, Jean is fed off schedule, or like she's fed inconsistently. So Jean doesn't know how often she's being fed. And that's how she's measuring the amount of time she's estimating for it to have passed. Also, sorry for my stuttering, but I think it adds charm. I'm not doing it on purpose. I don't have a script in front of me. She's being escorted around the prison, and even this guy knows that this is Jean of the Canvas Rebellion. I guess word's gotten around, but she was on the she hijacked that and then blew up the refinery, and so of course they might know who she is. She might be wanted. But then they say, we're very forgiving. This prison is maximum security. However, if you listen and behave and listen to or follow our orders, then we'll have no problems. And that could be from anywhere from shitting on the floor and eating your own shit, to giving out information about your allies or any other task that they might have or want for you. And Jean nods to this down here near the end, but it's just basically a lot of explanations. It's all exposition. Basically, they're just talking about the prison, how they're trying to reform prisoners, and that one day, if they ever catch any other Canvas Rebellion members, that they too will be reformed to fit a better Imperial society. And that this is their goal, but if not, they will have worse punishments, and then they will have to deal with that, because, you fuck around, find out, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, in both ends of fucking with the Imperials and also just fucking up and not listening to orders or disobeying. So Jean just kind of nods, and she's like, I'm gonna get out of here. In the green text, she just says, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna find a way to escape. Or it's like, how would she break free? And that might be pretty difficult. I'm looking forward to see what happens next. However, I do have something to say about this. I like the idea of this, and you already told me where it's coming from. I'm not going to spoil that. I'm not going to say that out loud unless you want to tell them, but that's fine. It's very inspired by a certain manga that's very popular, but that's fine. It's a cool idea. My big thing here is that this is Dragon Ball, right? And this is a maximum security Imperial prison. The thing I want to see, and maybe it's in the third log, I don't know yet, but the thing I want to see is that since this is a maximum security prison, there should be key restraints and stuff around the whole building, like in the insides part, that stops you from using ki, or maybe drains your ki enough so you can't use any, but still leaves you active for prison activities. Something to that effect, because Jean is a tier 2 character, and that is the standard base for everyone else. So that is the level of power that can destroy walls and get out and escape with enough time and effort of someone who was ascended. Now, obviously, that it doesn't just have to be like key restraints or whatever. There could be walls that are enhanced for key protection and other things. But I would like to see that explored personally, only because that this is Dragon Ball. It would make sense for that to be a thing, especially for prisons of other ascended. I don't know if there's other ascended in there, but I imagine there is. If it's that big and large, they're able to maintain that in the prison itself. That's all I have to say about that specifically, but that's fine. However, I would like to see as well other Canvas rebellion or like other Canvas members in here, only because if they're talking about reforming other Canvas members, then they probably have already gotten a few or several. It should make sense to see them around, and maybe Jean can discuss with some of them or talk with some of them in secret or during activities or something, and maybe they recognize her, or maybe they don't know about her, but they learn about her from her activities and the guards talking about her. I'm just throwing out ideas here. You don't have to follow this, but of course, this is just something I would like to see. This is another great log. I don't have any complaints about the writing or the context of the log or the clarity. I did ask Kiyazi about something specific, which was about the processing of the silver whale and how that they process prisoners, because I wasn't sure at first if they were sent directly to the silver whale into a processing room or if they were sent outside and somewhere else, and it was kind of both. Jean gets sent to a place outside the silver whale that is for processing their prisoners and not like too far away. So that's what I was confused about, which is why I asked before I made this. We're going to go on to the next part, the final part. And so far, I haven't edited anything. So far, the last recording was 5 minutes, 30 seconds. This one is about to be 7 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's cool. Anyways, see you guys in a minute. Well, it'll be instant for you guys, but not for me. And now on to part 3. This is a royal welcome, which you'll find out why it's called that in just a minute here. But the synopsis is Jean learns how the silver whale truly works from a supportive inmate. And that supportive inmate is why this is called a royal welcome. But you'll see why in a minute. So Jean's been in the silver whale for about 5 days. She's in her grace period right now, meaning that she's not going to be asked any questions or taken in for or like questioning or told to do anything or stuff like that. And so she goes around, does her activities for the next 5 days. You know, she goes to the gym. Is this where the gym is? Nope. Yeah, so the 5th day, I just read this and I'm already lost. The 5th day, she does go over here. She gets 2 meals of assorted crap and then spends her time in the gym room or walking around the area, the prison, to see what's around. On the 5th day, she goes to get food again, I think during lunch. Let me just clear this. It was at the dining hall in the evening, so probably dinner. And then she runs into this person who tries to take her pudding cup. And, you know, if that was me, personally, like me IRL, I'd punch in a person because that's my pudding cup, man. You were late. I don't care. Sorry. But Jean ain't like that. Jean is willing to give up her pudding cup for a secret of the prison. But this is where she meets Jew. Not Jew, Ju. And so they talk. They said, you could have asked me for the pudding cup, but sure, princess, I'll give it to you in exchange for your secret. She says, yeah, see, like, thank you, I am Jew. It's nice to meet you, question mark. And she's like, get your hand off of me. And they start talking. It's like, did you know, it's funny, you call me princess, did you know I am one? And she's like, really? Princess of what? And so Ju goes on to explain she's a sister of the king who rules the planet Yonaguni. It's a planet of oceans and scattered islands. Has sprawling cities of stone and clay, which is verbatim from right here. And the Empire wanted their natural resources. They did it by force. So, yeah, so right here. Yeah, so they took it. Her brother's an asshole. They said keep her. They were going to use her as a bargaining chip, but his brother, again, her brother is an asshole, so they just have someone worth nothing. And Jean just like, what the fuck? Or jaw dropped. Because, you know, it's a crazy ass story. And she goes on to say her full name. She says, like, I like your reaction. And then, it's right here. It said they have useless little Princess Jugemo Goku no Surikiri Kajiari Sugio no Unraimatsu Furematsu Kuneru Tokoro ni Sumu Tokoro Yaburokoji no Borokoji Pai Po no Shurungen no Gurendai no Pon Pokopi no Pon Pokona no Choki Yume no Chosuke. Stuck in their prison. I don't know what to do with that. And I probably butchered most of that. I'm not an expert in speaking that. I think that's supposed to be Japanese. I'm guessing it looks Japanese. And she's like, that's what Jew is short for. And it's a tradition to give them long names of royalty. And she says, what not about me? And Jean vaguely explains why they're there and what they did. And she's like, I'll tell you about the secret. So she takes Jean to somewhere in the prison and talks to an officer and bribes the officer to go away. And it's like, the guard's like, well, I'll be back here in a while. You all ladies behave, don't you? Won't you? And I thought, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was at first going to be some sort of like a prostitution thing or like a sex thing. Like she takes people over there to have sex or something. And then she was going to do this to talk to Jean in private instead, but no. Instead, Jew was like, I'm going to fight you, by the way, and I'm going to kill you. You're going to die. So they fight a little bit. Jean kind of counters. She grabs Jew and then holds her, and then she's like, let me go. And then Jew's like, well, you'll do all right here. Don't trust anyone. Use your gut. Trust your instinct. Not to trust anybody. So even Jew's like, yeah, I'm going to tell you all this stuff now. And then she explains that the prison's corrupt. There's multiple levels. And Jew is invisible, technically speaking, and so she's able to do some of these things after learning how the prison works, to do stuff like bribe the guards because she figured out that they're corrupt. And she's like, you can choose to believe me. I'm telling the truth. And then Jean believes her, but she also explains that the Empire is waiting for. It basically gave her a grace period, like I said at the beginning. So with her grace period, it's probably going to end soon, and at that point, there's going to be some sort of questioning or task that Jean has to do, probably like giving away information. But Jean's like, I trust you, Jew. And then Jew's like, I get the feeling you'll be interesting to watch, because she knows who Jean is after all the stuff that she went through, especially with the hijacking of the broadcast. She did have a time limit. She has a strict time limit, but yeah, she has a time limit, and she wants to give them a good show, apparently. Again, like I said previously, several minutes ago, with this log, again, the writing is good. However, there should be some sort of mention of how ki is restricted, because Jean could just blow the shit out of someone if she wanted to. And I mean with ki. So, blow up people with ki if she wanted to, or destroy walls. I want to know how they restrict that, if they restrict that, or if everything is done without that restriction and it's just heavily guarded. So if someone blows up a wall, they're immediately taken out, back down and executed or something. I can't say. I don't know. That's why I'm asking for that to have context in that regard. However, everything else is great. I think this is the best log out of the 3 so far. It also, I think, is the longest one. It took me the longest to go through. I don't really have any talking points besides what I just mentioned. I am honestly excited to see what is going to happen in the next part, because there's going to be a next part. It definitely feels like that, especially since I asked Hiazi about it. I'm not at liberty to discuss that though, because I talked about some stuff that I'd like to do if he does do that today or the next couple days. But overall, really great log. I suggest if you're going to move forward with this, that you get a name for the warden, and if you're going to have any other reoccurring NPCs like guards, to also give them names just to make the place feel more alive instead of just them being a guard. Just to make the prison feel more alive. Maybe talk about crowds some more, like how the prison's crowded, or maybe someone's pissed off at someone else in the like behind the scenes when someone else is talking. You could include that. The prison, I feel like so far doesn't feel like a prison, and that's not me just saying that because it's like open and stuff, and you can basically walk around during before curfew, but I want it to feel alive, you know. I when I'm reading this, I want to see like the context of prisoners in the background, or maybe someone's arguing over something in the background while something else is going on. Maybe like the overbearing noise or something. I don't know. That would be up to Hiazi to figure out if he wants to, but I think that could lead to a more interesting scenario and better read in the future. Not to say it wasn't a good read, it was still good, but I feel like having the extra detail would have brought me in more. But for now, I'm signing out, and again, it was a nice read. Thank you for these logs, Hiazi, again. But I'm signing out now. Peace out. Hope you like the reviews.